And the topic, the main one for today, is the revised International Passport Advantage Agreement, the key clauses that we want IBM customers to watch. And then we'll conclude. This is for business partners. Okay, so the introduction is that many organizations are running the virtualized technology for their software, the environment, data centers, and IBM software that runs on such environments can attract substantial savings, or it can become a burden. So IBM customers should abide by the rules. So we reminding the business partners to get their customers to abide by the rules. So there's an agreement that they sign, each IBM customer signs, which is the International Passport Advantage Agreement. When we were doing our marketing, we did share this link so that people can read again, including the changes that came in November 2017. So the agreement is basically what most customers will align to. Most customers, because mostly in distributed environment, this will be the agreement. But there are other agreements that we also do share in our workshops, which are not to which some customers do not align to. So the International Passport Advantage Agreement governs the relationship between the customer and IBM, including your SaaS and some other appliances that IBM sells. It also regulates the IBM audit, IBM software review, and the client responsibilities. And there is a review that IBM did on the Passport Advantage Agreement, which has an implication on the audit, the sharing of reports, especially the ILMT reports. And in that agreement, we're looking specifically at the clauses 112, 113, and 114. So these changes, the conditions that are in the new Passport Advantage, apply to customers, the new customers from 1st of November, and the old customers, existing customers, from 1st of February 2018. In the International Passport Advantage Agreement, it is stated that for anybody that runs any software on virtualized environment, ILMT is compulsory, including the reporting. So they have to install it. It is simple. The star means that there are some exceptions, which we'll talk about later. So the rule is simple. If you're not among those exceptions, you will be licensed at full capacity if you don't have ILMT. So that is what it means basically. ILMT is the only free tool that is accepted by IBM so that they can ascertain that IBM software usage in virtualized environment can be accurate. Besides that, we can use the IBM Big Fix inventory, but it is not free. So ILMT is freely available to all IBM Passport Advantage customers, and it is free. They don't need to pay for it, but they need to order it so that they can benefit, support, maintenance, and upgrades for the tool. So what are the options that we have for IBM software licensing? So there is over 100 ways of licensing IBM software, and there's two big ones based on processor capacity, which is your full licensing capacity, where all the cores on the servers will be licensed, and the sub capacity, where a portion of your active cores on the server will be licensed for the software. So these conditions apply for the acquisition of PView licensed products based on the virtual core capacity and on on virtual machines that are running the IBM software. This should not exceed the physical core capacity of the server. What are the requirements for people to benefit the subcapacity licensing? So there are some requirements that the customer will have to follow as explained in the International Passport Advantage Agreement. So the product must be eligible. Most of the products are eligible except a few, and the virtualization or partition technology must also be eligible for subcapacity licensing. The technology as well of the processor must be eligible. So all of these are included in the IBM Passport Advantage website. People can read it. It is detailed there. And there are exceptions for the ILMT reporting on the 3 scenarios for exceptions. The exemption applies when the ILMT does not yet support the virtualization technology, or the subcapacity product is not yet eligible. And also if the enterprise has less than 1,000 employees, including contractors, IBM is not, the client is not using a service provider, or the client has not contracted the service provider to manage the environment for the eligible products deployed on the customer. And also the total physical capacity of the customer for enterprise servers measured on full capacity but licensed on subcapacity is less than 1,000 PVUs. Or the third one is when the client is licensed at full capacity. Now, for the eligible products conditions, the statement included in the International Passport Advantage Agreement is that the customer agrees to install and configure the most current version of the ILMT within 90 days in order to benefit subcapacity licensing on the product deployment. It also states the client will promptly install any updates that are made available. And the third one is that the client will collect deployment data for the software installed. What are the key clauses that we want people to watch in terms of ILMT and subcapacity licensing? It's the 1.12, 1.13, and 1.14, talking about compliance verification, programs in a virtualized environment, clients reporting responsibilities. The ILMT verification in the Passport Advantage Agreement requires that the customer maintains reports on the software that is being deployed and licensed at subcapacity, and those reports are needed every 3 months, basically 90 days, rolling for 2 years. They must be saved. And whenever IBM requests or IBM auditors request the reports, they should be provided within 30 days. Now, what we did is to compare the change between the 2014, which was the latest International Passport Advantage, and the 2018 for the 3 clauses that we want people to watch, their business partners, so that they can help their customers. So here we're not asking people to read, it's just to see the size of the changes. On 112, on the left-hand side, you can see your 2014 version, and on the right-hand side is the 2018. So it is quite increased. So it's the same clause. You shouldn't read that, it's just showing the size. So what is important for us is that There they're talking about ILMT accuracy. So before, the customer was just required to install ILMT, but now they are stressing it must be working, and clients must agree to keep accurate records for their ILMT. What does it mean accurate? They have to stress on that. Also, the timelines for audit requests on ILMT non-compliance. IBM talks of IBM software review, which is basically the audit. There is a new paragraph where IBM clients will need to agree in writing that whenever an auditor or IBM requests an audit, IBM software review to happen, that should happen within 60 days. So when it is requested within 60 days, they have to start. If there is any confidentiality documents that must sign or security clearance that will be needed, all of that should happen within the 60 days so that the audit can start. Probably we all know people used to delay the start of audits, so now you only have 60 days. And if the last one, if IBM wants audits at various sites that the customers may have, it is included in the contract that IBM will have the right to go to any sites, any environment where the software is being used so that they can check. There are some potential new costs. Nobody wants to pay more money than they required. So there is a new phrase in the contract which states that the customer, the IBM customer, will promptly pay directly to IBM any charges that IBM specify in the invoice for any excess of IBM software use, for any subscription or support or any excess, for the less of the duration of the excess, or 2 years. Usually it's 2 years, but they can also, the IBM can give a portion of that. And there is any additional charges and liabilities that may arise if people delay the start of an audit and it costs IBM. So right now, the customer agrees that they will pay for it. So if IBM requests such liabilities. The second clauses, it's 113 that we want. Here you can see the size, and there is extra size. So here we can draw that the timelines of the audit and the result for non-compliance are tightened. So if IBM suspects a client is probably not compliant on the subcapacity licensing, they will give the client 30 days to share the reports. If the client is unable to deliver the reports within 30 days, IBM can charge the full capacity. So it's included in the contract. Let's read it this way. IBM customers must now exist. So those that are in a virtualized environment or running some software in a virtualized environment, they have to be in a permanent state of readiness for IBM software review. Why? Because 30 days is just very short for you to be able sometimes, most of the time, to prepare all your reports. So instead of being surprised, people should just be ready. The last one is the 1.14, the 1.14. That is the size, so we can see it is also increased. All those three are increased, and here we can draw that the customers must subscribe to remain updated. So the IBM customers are required to have at least one person who will subscribe to the notification, and when there are ILMT updates, they will be notified and they should update their version of ILMT to the latest one. That's why IBM puts it in the contract that they should have a person who subscribes to those updates, and they do send it on emails. And also that will allow the customer to have accurate ILMT reports, and they also agree, the customer also agrees not to alter or delete any of the reports for any purpose. Why is it important? It's because when we do the bundling of software in ILMT or big fix inventory, the automated bundling will probably do 60% of your software, and around 40% needs to be done manually. So if you do not have the updated version of the ILMT, it might skew the reports, and you might not have time to fix them. So that's why IBM wants people to be on the latest ILMT, so that the reports are correct, accurate in terms of the reviews, and people should have time to prepare them. So the customer will need to prepare at least one report every quarter, as usual, 90 days, and keep them for a rolling 2 years. There are a few paragraphs that also changed. If you're moving as a customer, you're moving your licenses, transferring them across border, and if there is any taxation required, so right now the client agrees to pay that tax. And also, if people are not on support, IBM has been lenient, you're not on support, but they will still try give you some support. So now it's no longer applicable. In conclusion, we can see that the IBM software licensing needs to be understood in terms of the international passport advantage, understood by the customers, but mainly also for business partners to help the customers. And they can use the free ILMT to save customers millions, because it can also put them into big financial risks if it's not installed or managed properly, as indicated in the international passport advantage. Clients in virtualized environment must implement ILMT properly and reduce their financial risk, as indicated in the passport advantage agreement. So if you don't have all of that, you are just licensed at full, your customer is licensed at full capacity. So without the processes, the client may violate the subcapacity terms, which can allow IBM to fine the customer for their physical environment, and possible backdated fines or extra fees. Non-compliance fines bring a lot of frustration, conflicts, and sour relationships between the IBM customer, the business partners, the distributors, and even sales, IBM sales in the channel. So it's just not nice. What are the opportunities that we see for business partners? They can advise, streamline the software licensing for customers in terms of license control, renewal. They can also generate a stream of revenues in the process for themselves. The second one, they can save money, reduce non-compliance risk for IBM customers, and if possible, redirect the savings towards increasing the IBM software acquisition, or get new software from IBM so that customers can use them in their business processes. Also, the business partners can assist IBM customers to understand and install ILMT, and there is maintenance and support services that they can attract from the customers. Us as Kisalu Consulting, we've compiled a workshop training face-to-face, which can assist customers and business partners to install, to understand ILMT. And we will also conduct these webinars as we go. So if they need, they can contact us. And at the bottom, we see this for ourselves and other business partners we want to work with as an opportunity to upsell IBM Big Fix inventory. If IBM customers are happy with ILMT and they save money and they don't have any other tool to manage any other software, so we can sell them IBM Big Fix inventory, which is in the same code, but it can cater for Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, and any other software in the market, including the in-house software, so that we can also have revenues from sales, but also services. That's it for the presentation that we wanted for today. I don't know if there are any views, questions. Hello.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. This is Dorothy. Thank you very much for the overview. I think it's very good in terms of preparation for getting our business partners on board. Something I always ask, for this ILMT tool, can it also do the assessment or check for other vendors, for example, Oracle and Microsoft?
No.
Or is it only IBM?
ILMT only does IBM software. So if customers want to go, so my idea has always been to get ILMT because it's free, to get it to the customer, do it so well that they should be happy, and then propose Big Fix inventory. So there is another tool, Big Fix inventory, that they can use for, like I mentioned here at the last one, number 4. The aim for us is also to be able to position Big Fix inventory, which can then cater for all the rest, Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, Adobe, BMC, anything. That is the purpose. But ILMT as such, it's only IBM software.
Okay, so if I got this right, with the ILMT, once you purchase Big Fix inventory, the client is able to apply the same analysis across all his portfolio.
Yes, because it's the same code as ILMT, so the IBM does accept a Big Fix inventory. It's the same code. So if you have Big Fix inventory, you'll use it for IBM software and other software.
Okay.
That's it.
So
yes.
I see Gordon and Actor on the call. My view is that this is really good, and the next bit is really to. I know you have we have follow-on sessions, and I've not had the bandwidth to pass this on to our business partners. But what I'm going to suggest is that we leverage our VAD team on the call to actually ask their representatives to send that to a business partner. So on the next session, they actually attend.
Okay.
Dorothy, I mean, I don't think this is completely on our VADs, in all fairness. I think it needs to be a double-pronged approach. I think this is actually, we need to, if we're going to raise awareness around this, we need to reduce it to a 1 or 2 slide view, which succinctly express both what the business problem is and the opportunity. Following along with this whole thing, I found it quite particular, and I didn't even really follow with where we were going along with this. So I'm still not really understanding the call to action from this at this point in time. I also wanted a question, please, and I mean this respectfully. Who is Kusalu Consulting? And how is it that you're pitching this to IBM, Mark?
I'm a business partner to IBM, and it is not now that I started ILMT. I think I started this thing around 5 years ago. But I think the time maybe was not right. But more and more now, I've seen a couple of IBM customers that had issues. That's why I'm going with this like fully. Okay. The issue is, Gordon, with all due respect, you will be shocked. I'm putting this. It's the number of slides because of the feedback that we got both from IBM employees, business partners, and customers. I started this ILMT drive drastically in January 2018. For the past 2 years, 2016, 2017, I didn't push for it. But prior to that, I did try it, but it did not really fly. IBM was not much interested, let me put it that way. So now I'm the reason I put so many slides, because believe you me, a lot of people don't have the background that you have. And
can I interrupt there, Mark?
yes.
Mark, can I interrupt you a bit? And it's fair to Gordon, perhaps he's not familiar with you. Mark has been working on IBM in our region for some time. And he was before different, it was called a different company before he rebranded to Kasulu Consulting. Now, if I can give you the reason for why we're having this call is that you may not be aware of is that there's a huge compliance initiative that's being driven in the region to make sure our business partners are compliant. We have a customer who, as a result of one of our business partners not being diligent and doing the necessary ILMT reports, then we found that we lost them because we just didn't handle it very well because they were over deployed and the overall bill was over 9 million. And it puts the customer in a very awkward, customer and IBM and the business partner in a very awkward position. This initiative is designed to get our business partners to be proactive, especially those who have already sold IBM solutions at the client, to make sure the client is compliant before the compliance team come in to review them. The compliance is probably not the right word, but usually KPMG or Deloitte will turn up, and they will ask them to do a particular run, and most of them have never heard of ILMT. When it's a product which you get free from IBM, you can download, but the education has failed. So the purpose of Mark running this exercise is for him to get his visibility with the necessary business partners, to can support them in terms of if they don't have ILMT skills. But also it is an initiative from us, IBM, and our VADs to ensure our business partners are aware in case their clients come to them and said, what is this letter that has come from IBM in terms of deployment? In addition to that, there's a value add here attached to it, because this assessment gives us another access to the client. If they find they're over deployed with Oracle, there's an opportunity for us to go back in there and resell our servers, our boxes, because they can save money on licensing and so on. So this is really an initiative to drive future business, but also to get our customers compliant. Mark, I hope I've given the overview that you were looking for.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dorothy. I think that would have been useful up front, but appreciate that context.
Yes,
I got a question. Do you offer this ILMT as a service to clients who don't have the skill, or BPs who don't have the skill to use it?
Yes, that's what we offering training. That's what, if you see at number 3 on the screen. So we assist, and we want business partners to do it, but if they can't, then they can do it with us. We can install it, we can maintain for them, we can train them if they want, we can train the customer, we can do anything they want. So we can work with partners, we can work with IBM partners, or we can work with customers directly the way they want it.
Have you worked with customers directly already?
Yes, I can give you the references if you want. They are able to reference for us. Okay, let me put it this way.
No, I don't need that now.
Okay.
I don't need that now. I just needed to know you've done it. You have the skills, you know how it works.
Yes. One customer couldn't, one customer couldn't renew the licenses for a year from IBM. And they refused to renew because of internal exchanges with IBM. And they say, unless you get ILMT to work for us, because it took a year, and between the customer and IBM it wouldn't work, and the customer say, I will not renew until you get us the ILMT to work. This is here in South Africa, and we made it to work, and that customer is able to reference for us freely. Another one also, it took a year, they couldn't, still in South Africa. So and the actor, I did my first license metric for you to know at Safaricom. No. Safaricom and BCX in 2007. Those were my first customers. Safaricom in Kenya and BCX in South Africa. So that was the old IBM license manager.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah. So this one, it's even easier for me. The previous one was a bit complicated. This one is easier. We can install and no problems. We can install, support, and train. The workshops we design ourselves. The workshop is to train the people on how to even install the ILMT.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think if there is no other point, we will close the call. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to have you here. I'll send the emails for updates. We have another set of webinars next week for the Southern Africa region and also for SIWA on Friday next week. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Dorothy?